Hi everyone, Eric Nelson here once again, and thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. For today, I am back with another book review on the Gryffon Master, Curse of the Lich King, which is by Heather M. Schuldt, Christian Fried, Joyce Shaughnessy, Randall Lemon, and Lynette White. And no, that is not an exaggeration. This this book is actually written by five different authors. Or let me rephrase that. It is written by five brilliant minds. And of course that is not also an exaggeration, because it seems like every single one of these brilliant minds had really pieced together all of their favorite mo all of their favorite mo all of their favorite motifs of their favorite fairy tales, because this fairy tale has a lot of them. A huge a huge kingdom, uh, a nice setting which is surrounded by forest like creatures, a little a little a little a little characters, as well as evil or magic dragons, and even huge spiders. Well, maybe that's not, uh, or maybe that's not classic, but in this case, it is original. And I really liked, and even though this whole book is an original is an original idea, it really made me feel like I was reading some of my old of my old of my old of my old childhood uh, fairy tales, and it really felt a nes- a nes- a nes- I'm sorry, a nostalgic to me. So anyway, in this original fairy tale, it actually has a total of two pro protagonists by the names of Ragnar Olslof, a huge Viking, and a short Arab man by the name of Ahmed ibn Vasset, which they are literally brought out of their own worlds, and they are placed in this magical land that is not only full of magic, but it also has its own fair share of evilness. And as they come across many different people, as well as animals that 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 come across either good or moderate, they actually they actually then have a they actually then have the unpleasant meeting of the evil one, which is a black dragon by the name of Beryl. And once now Ragnar and Ahmed must put aside their their differences, because they come from very different worlds, and of course many different family values, but they must put aside everything in order to survive their life in this new land, as well as to save the people and the creatures who inhabit it. But once they are separated, they do have to learn how to work by themselves, and as well as work with the people who are surrounding them, in order to survive. And it seems like the only weapons that they have is a magical crystal sword, as well as a magical stone. Now, of course, that seems like it could help everything and save everyone, because as we've seen in other classic fairy tales, those usually work. Well, I'm not going to say whether or not those weapons will work in this fairy tale, but let's just say that our two protagonists need to put in a lot of heart and thought into these weapons. But once they are reunited, or if they are reunited, they need to, of course, work off together, as well as work off their own as well as work off their own faith. I'm sorry, they must use their faith as well. Now, how will that pay off, or will it pay off? Well, that's where I leave it here so that you guys can read the rest. But as I said before, this book is filled with ideas that come from 5 brilliant minds, and as I said before, even though it is original, this book really does make you feel like you're a little kid, and you're reading some of your favorite fairy tales again for the first time. Now, of course, there are not only some dark moments, but there is actually a lot of them. But here's the thing, that's what fairy tales have, and if a fairy tale didn't have any dark moments, it wouldn't be a fairy tale, it would be a long nursery rhyme. And I like how the authors, now I don't know whose idea was whose, or which one put this idea in, but I really like how they gave our heroes different backgrounds, so that of course they can work off their opposites, but in the end they find it, or even long before the end, they find common ground within one another, and of course their common ground is to be helpful and save people from evil. So you can get this book anywhere, and I hope to see you all at the bookstore or the iBookstore.